why God? Why me? Why is this happening? I heard and felt in my shoulder, and I immediately knew something was wrong, but I'm still holding on. I have been competing on American Ninja Warrior for 2 seasons. Those seasons were very up and down, and I was really anxious to prove myself. I had already competed in Baltimore, making it onto semifinals. I knew I was a strong ninja, I knew I was good, but for some reason on the stage, I was just not bringing my A game. And so after you get out of a competition in American Ninja Warrior, you often have the opportunity to test. You can be one of the people who does the obstacles before the competitors that do the obstacles. It allows the production team to see how the obstacle operates, to see how the athletes do on the obstacle, and you kind of test it out and see, like, should they make adjustments? Is it too easy? Is it too hard? I was able to test in Las Vegas, which is amazing and an honor. If you know anything about American Ninja Warrior, you know that the national finals, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 with the rope, it's like the biggest, baddest obstacles around. And so being able to test on stage 1 and this season on stage 2 was really cool. So I'd been testing already for a few nights, really crushing it, doing really well. The testing coordinator had told me that he was going to allow me to have a full stage 1 course run the next night in testing. So I was like, yes. And let me just tell you, in my mind, in my heart, I was so, like, I said this already, but like ready to prove myself. I felt so much pride in what I was doing. I was so pumped that they were allowing women to test on stage 2, because in the past they don't always allow a lot of women to test on stage 2 because not a lot of women make it to stage 2. And so it was just this whole thing of like, yes, here I am getting to test on these big bad stage 2 obstacles. I just wanted so bad to prove my worth, not just as a ninja, but as a human. You know, sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in like people get praised and get special recognition, free stuff and whatever when they make it, right? I wanted that. I wanted to make it. I wanted to prove to people that I was strong and capable and this amazing ninja. And I also was hosting the Ninja Babes podcast at that time. I had it in the back of my mind that the more success I would have on the course would bring more to Ninja Babes, would bring more people to want to listen to the Ninja Babes podcast. And you know, that's all well and good, but so all of this is mounting in my brain and in my heart as I'm testing that week in Vegas. That night in particular, I was having a little bit of aches and pains, was just feeling the stress of like many days of testing in a row, and in general just like a lot of training. So dozens of us testers were gathered around these obstacles waiting for our chance to be called, and there was a handful of girls there. Like I said, we were so excited, hoping and like chomping at the bit that they would give women a chance on these obstacles. So it was stage 2 obstacle 1, which that season was the giant walk the plank, and if you remember, it was a platform, you sprint off, jump to a rope. It was a giant rope swing to a plank that was kind of set like this. So you land, you run up, and then you moved on to the second half of the obstacle. So lo and behold, they called my name, and I was like, this is happening. So I go up there to the top of this big platform, and so I'm up there and I'm ready to go, and you know, they were like, oh, stand at the end, let's do some camera blocking. And so production is like getting their shots of what it's gonna look like with the competitors walk down this platform and get ready to like sprint to the rope. And so we're going back and forth for a while, and if you know anything about sports, I'm like, I'm cooling down as I'm like waiting to finally go. So I had been warm and like ready to perform, and after a while I don't think I was too warm anymore. And finally they said, all right, go ahead, do the obstacle. I am perfectly capable of doing rope swings, but I sprinted out, giant jump to the rope, and as I began to swing down, I heard and felt in my shoulder, and I immediately knew something was wrong, but I'm still holding on. And I swing forward. I should have let go and jumped and dismounted to the platform at this point, but I didn't because I felt frozen. And I kicked off the platform and kind of like spun around and came back, and I was like, something is wrong, I need to like get on to the next platform. And so I was able to let go, and I tried to like jump forward and grab onto the platform, but I ended up like doing one of like these, like this arm grab, and this one just kind of like hit. It was a dazed feeling of what is going on, and I remember feeling like something's wrong, let's shake it out, you know, let's shake it out. And as I was like shaking it out in my brain, I really was like shaking it out, and then like realized something wasn't moving on this side, and I looked down, my arm is like literally dangling in front of me. So it was dislocated. They had to use a crane to come get me off the obstacle. They saved me with a cherry picker, thanks. So my season was over. But I say all that to say that in that moment, I was just, why God? Why me? Why is this happening? You know, I felt my strongest. I was so proud and so ready to prove myself. I had not made it to Vegas in competition, but here I was testing on all these Vegas obstacles and crushing it, knowing I was ready to be a Vegas competitor, but physically I just hadn't made it that far in competition. And I was so wanting like revenge, like I was wanting to like get back on the course and prove myself. And so then when the injury happened, I was just like, it's over, like what is happening? I was angry, but I was also just sad and like felt very hurt and very like dejected and like, what now? And I remember the next day while I was still in Vegas, a pastor friend of mine who's also a ninja came up to me and he had said like, you're gonna see how God is going to use this injury, and sometimes God allows this stuff to happen to kind of like slow us down and to teach us from it. Now, I was pissed when he said that. I was like, excuse me? God does not need to injure me to teach me a lesson. And I was like, I didn't say that to him, but that's how I thought in my brain. And I was like, no, like I was just mad. Weeks and weeks later, as I was processing what was happening, I ended up having shoulder surgery. It was, 8 or 9 months of recovery in sports PT. Not only did I learn a lot about what I was doing wrong in training and probably had been overtraining, I learned how to train balanced and in the right way. I learned so much about my body and what my body as an athlete actually needed, because I had done sports in high school, but I was not a professional ninja warrior in the sense of like having athletic trainers and all these things. We don't have that on Ninja. We are amateurs, let's be real. And we do our best and we learn and like we take it seriously. And yeah, like we're amazing, but we're not coming from like, an Olympic mindset of like having all these trainers and having this giant support team. We're just not. And so then through physical therapy, I did feel like I finally had a support team because I had professionals who could help me with my training. So that was huge. Also, wow, I just wanted to prove myself. I just, through my own pride and my own desire for greatness and my own necessity to fill up my own self-worth, I had just completely given myself over to like that desire. God needed to shake that out of me. And looking back now, I can honestly say that I think that pastor was right. I think that God allowed that traumatic injury to happen to truly allow me to shake off that pride and all of those desires that were misplaced into wanting to conflate my own self and make my own self feel more worthy. I needed to shake all that off and realize that I am only worthy as an athlete and as a human because of who God is, and it is only because of God that I have any value at all, period. Whether I'm an athlete or not, it's only because of God that I have value. And I needed to go through that experience to really cement that knowledge and that understanding into myself. I know God is not out there trying to make bad things happen, but God allowed this to happen to me because he knew that the outcome was going to be far greater than the temporary struggle that I had to go through. The outcome of learning how to give him the glory and to honor him with my full heart and to put him first truly, that outcome far outweighs the months and months of like struggle and rehab and all of that I had to go through. And I'm so thankful and grateful that God allowed that to happen so that I can be a changed person. Could he have taught me all of that without that needing to happen? Yeah, I'm sure he could, but was I allowing him to teach me all of that? No, apparently not, because all I wanted to do was prove how great I was and how great I could be. And so, fast forward the story even more, I was able to come back to American Ninja Warrior for season 13, which was last year. It was incredible, and I can honestly say, for the first time ever, I was entering competition with a full heart of happiness just to be competing. I was like, I have a shoulder that works. I can compete again at this high level after everything I've gone through, and I didn't even know for sure if I would be able to get back to this. And I just felt so incredibly thankful and so excited in a genuine way. And like I was having so much fun in a genuine way because I wasn't worried about the outcome. I finally understood my worth is not found in how I compete on the course. Maybe to other people it is. Maybe to you listening it is, and you're like, you haven't hit a buzzer yet, so I don't really care what you have to say. But all of that I was able to push out of my mind because I finally knew, no matter how I did on the course, God loves me so much, and He sees the same amount of value in me regardless of my performance. And that just totally changed the game. So season 13, I went out there with a heart and a mind that was ready to just worship God through every single experience. I had this cool image of my mind that, you know, every time that I would jump up to an obstacle or every time I'd be running across something, my hands would be lifted to praise God. And so season 13 was my greatest season ever. And I wasn't even trying for it to be that way. I was just trying to honor God genuinely. And I made it through semifinals, ended up in 3rd place in semifinals for the women, and then made it all the way to Vegas National Finals as a competitor. Like, it gave me chills to think about how the last time I was there, I blew out my shoulder, and now I was there able to compete. I had a great season. I ended up in 5th place for women overall, like top to bottom in the national finals. So cool. So I was just blown away, and that testimony is forever going to stick in my mind and my heart because of how much God changed me through it. So I'm still competing, just started competing for American Ninja Warrior season 14, so can't say yet how things are going, but I'm looking forward to sharing more stories. So thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to know more about my training, my testimonies, my other stories of just what God has done in my life through Ninja Warrior, please comment below what you'd like to hear, and I look forward to sharing more art, more stories, and more of whatever you want to know.